Hello. Okay, so I'm back, and this was a video request. And guys, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm getting to your video request. When I tell you, just go ahead, leave it. If you feel like it's been enough time that went by and I have not done it yet, you can leave it again. All right. It's just like it's a lot I've been doing. It's a lot I've been doing, and I'm trying to get caught up. Okay, so this video request, this was one about Synastry, the North Node conjunct a person's moon. Now, this is where we have to go before we go anywhere, before we explain what's happening here. What we have to take into consideration and we have to understand is the North Node. What does the North Node represent? And the North Node represents the type of energy we're supposed to embody to get us through our current incarnation in this 3D, in this physical form that we have chosen to take on this time around. Okay, so the North Node, if you could just keep it like that, you could just understand, have that as the understanding. Let's not look for any if, ands, or buts. Yes, it can be very hard to do, to carry on our North Node. It can be very hard to do because some of our North Node placements is like so different than what we are accustomed to, the way we're accustomed to acting. Like you have some people where, you know, their sun is a particular sign and then their North Node is the same sign as their sun, or the energy they're familiar with. Some of them still struggle with that, with possessing that energy, and then there's others that don't. They're like, okay, well, I'm here to do this and be what I am. So with the North Node, you have to keep in mind, you have to take on more qualities of your North Node. Okay. And you come across people, we come across people that trigger us, and that triggers in a way that helps us do that. And another thing to keep in mind is that just because you come across somebody with the North Node placement of one of your personal placements, Sun, Moon, Venus, and there is this high attractive quality and energetic pull towards it, and there's discomfort or this discomfort, it's these signals that's coming across that's like, wow, this person is, I have to recognize this person, or I have these feelings towards this person, or I want to be with this person, or why does this person bug me more than others, and why does this person irritate me more than someone else that's doing or saying the same thing that I would not be irritated by, that I would not be triggered by. And here you can see the North Node play a part. It's not like Eros, okay? It's not like a Eros, even though with North Node placements to other people's personal planets can trigger, and depending on the sign, can insinuate or trigger some sort of affiliation between you and another person. Like, so for instance, with my North Node, I remember being in a particularly long-term relationship with a man that Sun was the same placement as my North Node. Yes. When I was younger. And it was very hard for me and this person to break free from each other. And even when we broke up, like this person went and got married to somebody, had another kid. I had a kid. But even though we broke up, we still felt ourselves like coming back towards each other. like it wasn't just sexual or it wasn't just romantic. Like I felt like I had a true bond with this individual. But I realized when I eventually let this person go, was a couple years ago, and because he will always return back to me, and I would be there with open arms, and he was somebody that I could depend on too. You know what I'm saying? It was both ways, and he felt like a true friend, like a best friend to me. Okay, and vice versa. I mean, all the way to the point of where one would ask, "Well, why didn't y'all get married? Or why?" Well, it's not because people get married to partners that they have their North Node conjunct, their personal planets and stuff like that. But the issue was that something that we needed to do? Was that something that needed to happen, or was I learning how to develop my North Node traits? And he was that for me. And then him being a man, he could have felt that bond, feeling, I could have made him feel like a man even more by being by hanging on to wanting to know like what it is that he's teaching me. The fact that I was comfortable with him, that shows some sort of security there that he could offer me. So there's a lot at play. So you have to keep all of this in mind when it comes to the North Node. But eventually, like I saw where it was like, no, he's coming back around again, like because of this North Node placement in the comfort of me, and it's hard to break away. And this is a sun. I had my North Node conjunct his sun, okay? And there was other placements as well. So it wasn't just a North Node operating on its own. And I'm not saying that when you make when someone's North Node or your North Node makes contacts with someone else's personal planet or vice versa, that it can't work. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying, however, that a lot of times it's there for you to grow, for you to learn, for you to release. And other placements play a part. So that would be me looking at your personal chart and synastry chart with somebody else to determine that. But don't feel bad if you have this feeling like it's hard to get away from this person and vice versa. And it's not that you want to get away from each other, but that a lot of times when you are together, it could feel like, okay, well, we're supposed to go our separate ways, or you make plans, life plans together. And this is to the moon and the North Node too. Okay. You can make plans and significant plans with this person, like, but for some reason it just, there's other things, other components that's missing. And it becomes more like, okay, well, this is, something that we're supposed to do. We're friends. But at the same time, are we right for each other? And that's the question that it always comes down to. But the moon with the North Node synastry, and this is conjuncting the North Node, you have, since it's the node acts as like a moon type energy as well. The nodal points. It's more of a mind state. It's more of a subconscious thing, like the moon. So we have like our North Node urges and desires and inclinations and life circumstances that puts us in these situations to have to play out or live out our North Node, but it has to be like an advanced part of the sign. Like you would, and there's times when you might be called to act out like a not so, good quality of a sign, just because that quality that's not so good is not a good not so good, but it's not the best quality that the sign could, or characteristic that a sign could possess, but it's still that characteristic. And there may be times, for instance, let's say your North Node is in Cancer, and sometimes cancers could be, in their feelings and selfish with those feelings and, emotional and just have to cry. You could be a sign or used to energy that's like telling you, no, don't do that. You can't do that. Like, or that's something negative. You can't cry like a baby. Well, sometimes but no, sometimes it's okay, especially if you're activating your North Node to just be like, okay, you know what? Maybe I just need to cry right now, like a baby, or be selfish with my feelings right now. Even though you typically see that as a negative characteristics, it's the thing that you need to go towards. It's the characteristic that you need to go towards. That's ultimately freeing you, and you subconsciously is what you want to feel. It's what you want to do, but consciously it's hard for you to do it. So when you get to the moon, that's the North Node, you get to the moon, it's the same thing. Except for you more familiar with your moon energy, you just kind of, automatically, once you relax around people that you're familiar with, you let those energies come out. So these two, because of this, the North Node the North Node person feels not like it's not judged. So it brings on this connection. The North Node feels a connection with the moon person because it feels like, man, I could let my guard down with this person. And at first, if initially the North Node person is doing this unconsciously or it's a subconscious thing, it's going to come to their recognition that, oh wait, this is something that I'm conscious of. I'm aware of the fact that, like, I feel comfortable around this person. But what tends to happen is it's coming to the North Node person's consciousness because it's trying to trigger or signal to the North Node person, like, okay, well, this is the path you to be on. This is something that this person is teaching you how to embrace these traits so that you can move forward in the world, so that you can actually have the life in the way that you need it to be for what you're supposed to be right now in this existence. And this could tend to make the North Node person want to pull back. And what happens every time in these nodal aspects, when the nodal person starts to feel uncomfortable with what that personal sign is trying to make them do, usually with the moon, security, feelings, things dealing with the self, family, right? That's an expression of that the North Node person may not be comfortable with, may or may not be comfortable with. And it tends to make the node person retreat, bottle up. And what ends up happening is the North Node still wants to be around that moon person, still wants to be around the personal planet person, and they want the personal planet person to pull the weight of what they're supposed to be doing. So now it becomes the planet person. The moon person is trying to articulate the North Node person's feelings. It's like, oh, well, they're not saying how they feel, even though the North Node person is supposed to. And I'm saying feelings because I'm still thinking about Cancer North Node. This could be Aries North Node, where the person has to be more active in their life, more Martian, more decisive, more confident, more moving forward. You see what I'm saying? The moon person, brings this to the North Node person's consciousness. The North Node person knows this is how they want to feel, but then they don't do it because they then want to rely on the moon person to do that for them. Hey, you make my decisions. You go ahead and you move forward. You do this, you do that. You be confident for the both of us. And this is where it starts to get iffy with these connections, because you want the moon person wants to secure the North Node person like that, because the moon person feels needed. The moon person feels seen. The moon person feels heard. The moon person feels alive because the North Node person gives the moon person something to want to connect to. But the North Node person feels like they're secure. The North Node person feels seen, feels connected. Like the moon person knows what they need to do, knows what they want. It seems very intuitive, but this is where it comes to where it starts to be iffy if you guys make it this far into the relationship where you make it it's a back and forth thing, because the moon person inevitably starts to feel like they're not getting their needs met depending on the other placements of the North Node person. Because the North Node person can retreat back into their comfort zone. So let's say they are the Aries North Node, but they're the Libra South Node. Where are they comfortable? They are comfortable with being indecisive. They are comfortable with, being following what their partner says. They are comfortable with just well, I don't know. It's like whatever you want, just very Libra-ish. Everything has to be fair, or just tell if it's too much going good, I'm about to tip it out of whack or whatever. When you need the Aries person to move forward, to be decisive. You see what I'm saying? They can't depend on you for everything, the moon person, but that's where this starts to go, and it becomes this relationship or this interaction of convenience, and things can fizzle out. Like you can desire, like I want this person, I desire this person, I got this connection with this person, it's hard to let this person go, but at the same time I feel like I should be experiencing something different, like I should be experiencing more, but why am I not allowing myself to? And these two can get in situations to where they create kids and other things that link them or latch them onto each other. Remember, like that security net that, well, if I have kids with you, if I marry you, if we have some sort of possessions there, if we make ourselves available and open to each other throughout life, I know that we're going to have each other, because it could be hard to let each other go. I get it, but understand to the core what this synastry is about. The North Node person is supposed to be coming in touch with themselves, their subconscious, depending on what the sign is, the qualities of those signs. They're supposed to be embracing it intuitively, but consciously, and the healthy part of it is when they can reflect that back to the moon person. And the moon person is supposed to be encouraging these things in the nodal person, but is not supposed to become the nodal person's security blanket, especially if you want to have an equal partnership in something that benefits you back in return. But this is a connection, a pretty strong connection between the two, but you trigger each other a lot. With it being the moon in the North Node, it could be insecurities that gets triggered between the two. Now, it's almost 20 minutes. Did I just say almost? And I'm going to stop right there. I had to explain. I feel like I spent a lot of time explaining the North Node and just giving examples to help you guys better understand how the energy is working, okay? But like the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel, because I will be back. And please keep those requests coming, because I'm going to get to them. I promise, okay? Eventually one day. And if you feel like I forgot, remind me, please. All right.